Welcome to Box Office Recap.
Today, I will explain a 2020 action drama movie called Riders of Justice, a strange and surprisingly funny revenge flick starring a hard-as-nails Mads Mikkelsen that shows us the dangers of confirmation bias. Sit back, relax, and enjoy. In the opening scene in Tallinn, Estonia, an old man and his young niece are looking at a red bicycle as a possible Christmas gift. The girl says she would prefer to wait for a blue bicycle instead. The old man tells her that nothing is certain in life and that Christmas is a long time away. As they leave, the bicycle dealer makes a phone call to order a blue bicycle on the black market. We cut to a train station in Denmark where a white van stops next to a blue bicycle, which belongs to Mathilde, that is chained to a post. Two hooded men get out, cut the chain, put the bicycle into the van, and drive away. Next, we cut to Markus Hansen, a soldier in Afghanistan. He calls his wife, Emma, who tells him that their daughter's blue bicycle was stolen at the train station. Emma also mentions that the family car won't start. Markus tells Emma that he has been ordered to stay in Afghanistan for another 3 months. Emma and Mathilde decide to walk to the train station. We now follow Otto Hoffmann and Lennart Berner Nielsen at their work. They are busy presenting a seemingly worthless algorithm that they claim can be used to predict future events. Otto says that all events are products of a series of preceding events, but because we often have insufficient data, we categorize these events as coincidences. Their bosses aren't impressed with how long it has taken them or how much their research has cost the company to get to this conclusion. They are fired and pack up their personal things before they leave. As Otto rides the train home, he notices a tattooed man in the same car. He watches another man throw a sandwich and a drink into the trash before he exits the train as Mathilde and Emma board. The train is crowded, so Otto offers his seat to Emma. The train then slams into another train which rakes the right side of the train car. Otto regains consciousness to see the wreckage around him. Back in Afghanistan, Markus is informed that his wife has died in the train accident. Otto is at the hospital receiving treatment for his injuries. On his way out, he sees a grief-stricken Mathilde receiving counseling. Markus is released from duty in Afghanistan and is flown home. Otto goes back to his apartment and watches the news report on the train crash, which is ruled as an accident. The news confirms that 11 people have died in the accident. The man with the tattoo that Otto saw on the train, as well as his lawyer, are two of the deceased. He was a former bike gang member called Johan the Eagle Ulrichsen. He was about to testify against his former gang, the Riders of Justice, and their leader, Kurt Tandem Olsen, regarding a high-profile homicide case. Markus arrives back from Afghanistan and goes to the hospital to see Mathilde. He tries to console his grieving daughter. Otto approaches the authorities to discuss the probability that the train accident was not an accident according to statistics. He mentions that both Eagle and his lawyer dying 13 days before they were due to testify is highly unlikely according to the numbers. The men thank him for stopping by but do not think the man from the train who threw the food and drink into the trash is relevant to the accident. At their home, Mathilde and Markus find it difficult to come to terms with the tragedy, causing a strain in their relationship. Otto meets with Lennart to discuss Otto's theory that the train crash was not an accident. Otto asks Lennart if he can hack into the server of the chain of gyms called Fitness World to find information on the Eagle's habits. Otto states that the Eagle is a methodical person who works out every day. They need to establish that he uses the same treadmill each time. If so, he probably sits in the same train seat every day. This would indicate that Kurt, the motorcycle gang leader, would know where to target him on the train. Lennart agrees to help. Markus and Mathilde attend Emma's funeral service. Later that evening, a tearful Mathilde questions whether her mother's death was a coincidence or not. Markus tries his best to comfort her amidst his own grief. Otto and Lennart drive to Markus's home. They introduce themselves and Otto tells him that he was on the same train as Emma and Mathilde. Otto informs Markus that the train accident wasn't a coincidence. It was probably a planned murder to eliminate a key witness about to give evidence against the head of the Riders of Justice motorcycle gang. Markus invites them inside to continue the discussion. Otto shows Markus the detailed information on the Eagle that Lennart got from hacking Fitness World. The Eagle's criminal record shows 6 cases of assault on various train lines. He always sat in the second row in the second carriage. Otto tells Markus there was another man on the train who had thrown his food and drink into the trash before getting off. Emma and Mathilde had then boarded. This man had been at Osterport station the previous night and had free access to the parked freight train which later hit the passenger train. Otto says the man in the photograph is the key. They just need to find out who he is. As they leave, Otto and Lennart decide to approach Ulfa Menthaler, who is an expert using software for facial recognition. Markus joins Mathilde at the hospital where they are offered therapy to deal with their grief. Mathilde says she thinks that it is a good idea, but Markus declines. Later that evening, Markus is angry that Mathilde is home late and does not answer his calls. He finally hears her arrive and shouts at her to go inside. Her boyfriend Sirius tells him not to use that tone with her. Markus punches him and Mathilde runs towards the house, telling Markus that he is insane. Sirius drives away on his motorcycle. Markus stands outside Mathilde's locked bedroom door and apologizes to her for his behavior. Mathilde is compiling her own notes on the sequence of events from the day of the train crash as she continues to question whether it was a coincidence or not. The following day, Otto and Lennart go to Amanthaler's apartment telling him that they need his help with the murder case. They wait as Amanthaler uses facial recognition software to identify the suspicious man who left the train seconds before the accident. He is an Egyptian from Cairo and is the only match above the 99.12% biometrical marker threshold limit. Otto asks him to lower the threshold of facial recognition to 95% and to look for matches with Danish addresses. The person with the highest percentage match in Denmark is Paul Olesen. Otto says he recognizes him from the train. Back at Markus's home, Mathilde is still very angry with him for punching her boyfriend. Markus tries to make amends and suggests that Mathilde invites Sirius for dinner. Otto, Lennart and Amanthaler go to see Markus. They tell Markus that Paul Olesen is the brother of Kurt Tandem Olesen, president of Riders of Justice. Paul is a trained electrical engineer who specializes in train components. The tattooed man in the train who was also killed in the wreck was about to testify against him. The group goes to Paul's house. They intend to interrogate him for information about the accident. Paul pulls a gun on them. They start to leave, but as they reach their car, Markus turns back towards the house. Paul opens the door, brandishing his gun. Markus loses control and kills Paul. Lennart enters the house and calls Amanthaler to help him to dispose of the evidence. He then tells Markus and Otto to wait in the car. Lennart searches for cleaning materials. When he sees a Ukrainian man, Bodashka, naked and gagged, he says nothing and leaves him there. He rejoins the others in the car. They drive Markus back to his home. As he walks up the driveway, he sees a motorcycle which belongs to Mathilde's boyfriend Sirius. Markus greets him and apologizes to him. Sirius says he understands as he knows they are going through a difficult time. Mathilde and Sirius try to convince Markus to speak to a crisis psychologist about his grief and violent behavior, but he refuses. He sees on the news that Kurt Olesen was acquitted on all charges because the witness, the Eagle, died in the train crash. The reporters are confused as to why Kurt is celebrating considering his brother has just been murdered. He tells them that Paul would have wanted him to celebrate that justice has prevailed. Markus summons Otto, Lennart, and Amanthaler to the barn. He tells them to get all the information they can find about the Riders of Justice. He plans to avenge his wife's death. Otto agrees to get the information but says he won't kill anybody. Mathilde sees Markus and the group of men leaving the barn together. She recognizes Otto as the man on the train and questions her father as to who the men are. Lennart lies to her saying that they are a therapy group attempting to help him with his trauma. Lennart offers to be Mathilde's therapist. He has seen 25 psychologists in 40 years and knows all the terminology. Mathilde pours her heart out to him saying she feels nothing and is sad every day. The riders torture Bodashka for information. He tells them he only remembers seeing one man who was well dressed. He heard the man calling to a man named Amanthaler. Back at Markus' barn, Amanthaler is attempting to set up the computers, complaining that if anything gets his blood boiling, it's monitors with bad resolution. They go back into the house where Amanthaler continues to rant about the computer's small processors. He demands that they collect his servers and monitors from his apartment immediately. Lennart, who is counseling Mathilde, is offended by Amanthaler's bad behavior, calling him an arrogant diva. Mathilde says something's not right to Sirius as they watch the group of men leave to collect the monitors. As they drive to the apartment, Lennart tells Markus there is nothing embarrassing about him needing trauma counseling. Markus is angry and tells them not to say another word. The riders are waiting outside Amanthaler's apartment, and when they see the group arrive they force Bodashka to identify him. The riders shoot at the group as they approach the front door. Markus runs to the one attacker, takes his weapon from him and kills the other riders. Lennart begs Markus not to kill Bodashka, who is sitting handcuffed in the car. They rescue him and take him with them. Markus has collected all of the attackers' automatic weapons. Lennart reassures Bodashka that they will not kill him and removes his handcuffs. They all return to Markus's house to hide from the rest of the Riders of Justice who are looking for them. Amanthaler says he is able to use Lennart's computers, although it will be difficult on his useless hardware. The group demands weapons training if they are to continue. Markus tells Mathilde to get the equipment up and running and then he will train them. Using sticky notes, Mathilde has made a timeline on her bedroom wall of events relating to her mother's death. She gradually works her way back to the day her bike was stolen at the train station. The following morning Bodashka, now seemingly a part of the family, gives Mathilde his gold chain and tells her she is beautiful. He gives her a packed lunch and wishes her a good day at school. Markus, Otto, Leonard and Mathilde are in the barn discussing their revenge for the 22 remaining riders. Markus warns them that as soon as the gang realize that they are under attack, it will be harder to get to Kurt. Mathilde tells him that Kurt is never alone and always has at least 10 men with him. When Leonard suggests that they attack the riders at their clubhouse, Mathilde goes to the computer and shows them how the clubhouse is under constant surveillance by the police and Danish intelligence. Markus takes the group into the woods to start their weapons training. He is impressed with the speed and accuracy that Mathilde displays when assembling his weapon and asks if he has any previous military experience. He tells Markus he has no training, he just likes assembling things. Much later that day, Mathilde tells the group in the barn that Kurt and a group of 12 men will be going to a restaurant called Enterini at the docks at 7 that night. Mathilde tells Markus that he can come with him and explains a strategy for their plan to succeed. He is nervous but happy when Markus agrees. Mathilde goes into the house to call Leonard and Otto, who are having dinner with Mathilde, Sirius and Bodashka. He tells them that they need to leave immediately and that Markus will explain everything to them in the car. As they travel towards the restaurant, Otto repeatedly questions Markus about the way he speaks to Mathilde. Markus warns him to stop talking and when Otto continues, Markus punches him and leaves him on the side of the road. As they drive away, Leonard tells Markus that Otto's daughter died in a car accident when he hit a tree in 2002. The accident permanently damaged Otto's arm. They arrive at the restaurant and see Kurt greeting 3 of the gang members. Markus tells Mathilde to get ready and Leonard to stay in the car. More people emerge from the restaurant including a few biker girls that they did not expect to see. They remain in their car as the girls walk away from the restaurant and Kurt drives away. Markus and Mathilde run down the road along the side of the parked cars and Markus opens fire on some of the gang members. Markus manages to kill the men on his own. Mathilde apologizes to Markus for lagging behind and for being incapable of killing the man who lay on the ground in front of him. As Otto regains consciousness and walks back to the house, Markus sees him and stops the car on his way home to give him a ride back. The following morning Otto goes to speak to Mathilde in her room. He sees Mathilde's wall with the detailed timeline of the events that led to her mother's death in the train wreck. Otto tells her it will never make sense to her and thinking about it further will just be a waste of time. Back at the barn, Bodashka explains to Leonard that Pal was definitely not on the train that crashed. Pal and Bodashka were together in Germany at the time. They flew back and landed on the Monday after the incident. Leonard goes to check the facial recognition result again and is shocked. Otto had convinced Mathilde to accept the less accurate facial recognition result. The suspicious man on the train was actually an innocent Egyptian tourist who resembled Pal. Mathilde says that statistically it is nearly impossible, but the evidence they had relied on to prove that it was not an accident was based on a simple coincidence that the 2 men resembled each other. Their crusade against the Riders of Justice was committed in error. Upon learning this, Markus leaves the barn and goes to the bathroom in his house. He finally breaks down due to his ongoing grief, anger and frustration. Otto goes to comfort and console him as Markus lies crying on the floor of the bathroom he has broken in his anger. Later that evening Otto tells Markus that he has to get help to deal with Emma's death as he has a responsibility to Mathilde. Otto says he misses his daughter every day and has nothing to be proud of, but Markus still does. Otto continues, saying he wishes that he was Markus. He tells him to build a relationship with Mathilde and that it will take time before it all makes sense. That night as Sirius walks towards his motorcycle, he is attacked by the riders who threaten to break his fingers unless he tells them Otto's whereabouts. Markus hears a noise and runs from the barn towards the house as the riders open fire on the group. He tells Mathilde to run to her room and stay under the bed. Otto and Leonard are injured. Markus is badly wounded. He sends Leonard to collect the dismantled gun stored at the foot of the stairs. The riders enter the house. Mathilde is discovered under her bed and taken hostage. Markus is called to the door where he sees Mathilde being held outside at gunpoint. He drops his weapons. Otto, Leonard, Mathilde and Bodashka ambush and kill the riders. Markus comforts Mathilde who has been shot and carries her to a tree, where he sinks to the ground. She tells him the ambulance is on its way. Markus apologizes to Mathilde and says that he should have listened to her and admits he needs grief counseling. The movie flashes forward to Christmas, where the entire group are present to celebrate and exchange gifts. Markus and Mathilde give Emmentaler a French horn that he used to play very well in the past when he was much younger. Otto encourages him and he starts to play again flawlessly. Mathilde's Christmas gift is a new red bicycle. At another house in Tallinn, the girl from the opening scene receives Mathilde's blue bicycle as her gift from the old man.
Thanks for watching. Please subscribe for more recaps and hit the bell icon for notifications.